So welcome back, everyone. We were just waiting for some more participants to come in. They were in the waiting room. So I welcome you all to the SAT Possible webinar and event today, which is on the SAT score and studying both in India and abroad with this score. So before I introduce you to the itinerary for today, I would like to understand from you all what I mean from everyone here as to who is in our uh, audience today. So my first question through the poll is coming out to you so that I can welcome the different audience that we have today. So I've launched this poll. Please answer according to what is relevant. Okay, I'm waiting for more and more of you to answer this question. It'll really help our panelists to understand and address you accordingly. If there are a majority of students, then we can have a lot of good jokes and fun. If there are more parents and teachers, maybe we will curtail on the fun and jokes. Great. So I think maximum people have answered. So I'm going to end this poll. I'm going to share the results with our panelists. So today we have about 94% of the audience that comprises students. And we do have about 15, 16, 20 parents. So welcome to both parents and students to the webinar today. So just a few webinar rules. We will be asking questions. We will be keeping this webinar interactive. So we would request you to put in your responses or your questions in the chat box. So I see some of you have used the Q&A box. That's also okay. But since the chat box is always open in the side window for us, automatically we sneak into the chat box and are able to answer your queries. And also we have a very big mix of audience today. We have students from all over the country. And, that helps us to reach out to a maximum of you and talk to you about this lovely option. Now, my name is Dr. Surabhi Modi Sahai. I am the CEO of Possible Education. Possible Education is a young entrepreneur's body. We are educationists, and we have been training for competitive exams for over 11 years now under Possible. And most of us and our trainers have been training students for over 16 to 17 years. We also have some mentors with over 20 years experience. I'll be happy to introduce them to you by and by. And our biggest success for Possible has been our vertical, which is known as the CLAT Possible vertical. It trains students for National Law University exams. And we have seen thousands and thousands of students study and get into NLUs. So during the course of running CLAT Possible, we also have a CAT product for MBA students who want to study in IIMs and write the CAT exam. So during the course of, working with students for Indian universities, we realized over the last 5 years that students are also very keen on exploring universities abroad. They have always been keen, but we saw a huge number of students opting for these options. Our own students who were writing CLAT exam were also simultaneously preparing for SAT, or those who were writing the CAT exam were also primarily preparing for GMAT and GRE options for MBAs and master's programs abroad. That And the pandemic gave us the opportunity to grow inwards, work on new products, better our products, existing products, and then Sat Possible was born. And just like our other verticals, it promises excellence. It promises a great mentorship experience. It promises to help you get a great score on this exam and also help you with applications and understanding your potential and helping you with choice of universities. So an end-to-end product, not just with the score, but also with a due diligent process that takes you through various options with your score, with your profile, and what is the best fit for you in terms of an education. So to talk about it more, I have with me Anjana here. I'll be handing over the floor to her very soon. Anjana is a senior international, university's advisor to students. She's a counselor. I was chatting with her earlier today, and she tells me that she just lives and dreams and works with students. She's available for most of our students in while they're in the process of applications, and she has been doing this for over 28 years. So we are happy to associate with Anjana for Sat Possible, who will be your student counselor, who will be mentoring you with your application processes and whatever else you may need for profile building, choice of universities, so on and so forth. Also in the first half for today, I have with me Tarun. Tarun Malik has been, again, has over 20 years of experience in the mentorship space and trains for SAT, GMAT, CAT. He trains students for the quantitative ability part of the paper, which is commonly known as the maths paper. And I think he has uh, uh, you know, Tarun, what was your score once again? Tarun, are you
Uh,
here?
yes, it was 800 out of 800 in both paper 1 and paper 2 in math section.
Great. So who better than that to teach you for the math section of the paper? So he'll be talking about the math section of the paper. So we will be, the three of us will be talking to you in the first half, where we will focus on the SAT score, what to study, what does the paper look like. And Anjana will be giving you an overview of what this exam is, where all it takes you. Do you have destinations in Asia and India that the score takes you to? And so once Anjana has spoken about the overall philosophy of the SAT and applications, Tarun and I will come in briefly to take you over the respective reading, writing, evidence ability part and the quantitative part of the paper. Now, just to give Anjana a better picture of, of the audience composition, I'm going to float in a very quick poll again, which says, what class are you in? That will help both, all three of us rather, in terms of counseling you better, in terms of understanding what target exam are you taking, and what you could be looking forward to. So our individual speeches will then incorporate those details. All right, so we have little under 100 students who are yet to answer this question. So I'm going to keep this poll on for another 30 seconds. So if you haven't responded, please do respond. All right, so I'm ending the poll now. And I've shared the results with our panelists. So as you can see, there's a mixed crowd. We have, an equal number of 9s and 10s. and 11s as well, and fewer 12s and 12 pass out students as compared to the 9s, 10s, and 11s. So I hope this was helpful for you, Anjana.
Yes, yes. Thanks, Ruby.
Great. So now I'm going to hand it over to Anjana, who is now going to tell you about this exam, the universities, options, opportunities. There are questions also, as I can see in the chat box. What is SAT exam used for? So I think all the basics that go with the exam, Anjana will be talking to you.
Okay. Thank you, Surbi. Good afternoon, one and all. It's I can feel the vibrations and the energies of the student, and I'm sure all the adults present here can also feel it. That's what drives us, isn't it, Surbi? Okay.
Yes, that's
So
true. It's always great
my
to
name
mingle
is
with students.
Anjana Anand, and I have been guiding students, mentoring students for higher education in India, Bangladesh, and Singapore, and have had the opportunity to mentor them, guide them, and place them in world-class universities. And, when it comes to the education or the higher education, you generally say that a child who's like interested, or a parent who's interested, that, I want my child to go to Harvard. That's like a benchmark. And what I say, I believe in that. I like to help these students find their Harvards. And that's the mantra we go with. And at the outset, let me congratulate SAT Possible for offering this platform in a completely holistic manner, truly in line with how the world-class universities across the globe look at the admission process when they are assessing the applications of the students. So that's one. Here, very important thing is, I'll like to say that career per se it's very important to make a well-informed decision when it comes to your career. And career is something, the profession that you choose, remember, almost 1/3 of your life you will be spending doing that. So the first step is, how do you choose your career? That's an important step. Then once you have kind of gotten a direction, it's important that you get the best education possible to be successful in that career. And when I say the best possible education, you choose the right university for the education and the degree that you are seeking. Then comes this whole career counseling process. And once again, I would like to repeat that SAT Possible is probably one of the rare institutes that is offering SAT coaching as well as career counseling, so that you get a complete, I would say, the basket of services under one umbrella. Now, why SAT, or what is SAT? SAT stands for Scholastic Aptitude Test. So aptitude, I think it's like, it is an international benchmark. So for example, if you take the board exam in 10th or 12th, whether it is CBSE or ICSE or IB or a state board, it is a credential. It provides credibility to the qualification that you have obtained. For example, a 10th board certificate gives you a certain credibility. Similarly, a 12th board gives you, it's an entry to the next level. SAT is the basic requirement for an admission into an international university. And not only international, even in India now, many Indian universities, which you'll get to hear when we have our College Board representative talking about SAT in more detail, that how it is beneficial even for Indian universities. Now, SAT is one aspect of your admission. Let me just get into how the international universities or the universities, when they look at your application in a holistic way, the basic requirement is your academic score, which is your board exam scores of 10th and 12th. You will be applying when you are in 12th. So you are issued something called a predicted grade, which your school issues. That is your first, where do you stand academically, that tells you. Then SAT is your international score. The exam when you take, it is known across the globe. What does it stand for? It tells the admission officer the aptitude that you have in English and math and science related questions that is there in SAT. This gives you an international standing. It is on a scale of 1600. You will get to hear this detail. SAT is one thing. Then what they look at is, what is it that you bring to the university when you are applying? Now look at it. You may be the topper of your own school in Lucknow, Kanpur, Gorakhpur, Chennai, or any other place. But remember, when the students are applying, I am sure we have representatives from the other universities, they'll tell you that they receive every year for the cohort that they are going to take, they receive about anything between 30 to 50,000 applications, out of which they have the seats about 2,000, 1,500, 2,000 or max 3,000 seats to offer. Now, most of these students will be the toppers of the class, or the top 10% or top 15%, top 20%. Then you have the SAT score. That gives you the second benchmark. Okay, where do they stand in terms of the international standardized score of SAT? What is their benchmark? Academic aptitude. Okay, a SAT score of 1,500 puts you somewhere 1,400, 1,300, like that on a scale of 1,600. Then comes, they may, from 40,000 applicants, they may bring it down to, let's say, 30,000 or 25,000. Now, how do they select 3,000 out of that pool of 25,000? That is your unique story. That is your profile. That is the application essays that you put out there. That is what you demonstrate as a person, as a personality, what character you demonstrate through your application essays, through the extracurricular activities, through your profile, through the letters of recommendation that your teachers and your counselors will write for you. So this is the holistic admission process that helps you get admission into the university. And this whole process is what comes under career counseling. And so you have, with SAT Possible now, you have the opportunity to work on your SAT score and to work on your profile and the other aspects of your personality to present and demonstrate the best possible application to secure the admission. This is what I believe is the holistic admission process, essentially, and that is why I really, like the way the universities abroad in UK and US work towards it. Then comes, when should you start the process? So if you want to make a unique story, as I said, you have to stand out globally. You are no longer competing in your cities or in your school. When you're putting an application for the international university, you're actually competing at the global level. So you have to stand out. You have to start making your story or working on your story. And when I say working on your story, this means that you have to work on your profile. What is it that is unique about, I see here, I see some names here, let's say Muskan I saw, or Srishti, or all those. So what is unique about you? Then you can start working on it as early as grade 9. I see some questions on the chat box that are SAT scores acceptable for Canadian universities? It's not mandatory, but the moment you have a SAT score, because it is an international benchmark, it puts you an edge. Let's say there are 2 applications with very good stories, very good essays, very good academic scores. They have to choose one, they just have 1 seat. And one person has SAT, they will consider, okay, this child has SAT score also, everything else look at the same. There are chances of getting an edge there. Though Canadian universities for undergrad, it's not mandatory. Same thing in UK, except for Cambridge and Oxford, it is not a mandatory requirement. All right. So if I wish to attend medical college in a foreign country like US, will SAT be necessary? To get into the admission, first to get it admission, you will need, for US, you do not do medical at the undergrad level. You do something called pre-med, and for that you need SAT. And later, when you go only at the master's level, your medical starts, then you have to appear for another medical entrance examination. This is what it is. So when do you start? You can start on your profile and career counseling as early as grade 9. What is SAT? SAT is essentially math and English. It is building your aptitude. It will build your skills. So you can start as early as 9th, but ideally you should be taking the SAT exam for the first time after your 10th boards. So prepare accordingly. That is what it is. And I see that we have maximum students from grade 11 here. You should be on your way to, if you have not already registered for the March SAT exam, you should be doing it as early as possible, or for the next May, the coming May, you should be taking your exam by May this year if you're planning to apply for the 23 cohort. This is what I believe as of now, what I can say about the SAT exam and how the universities look at the admission process and when they are recruiting applicants. So I'll be very happy to take more questions, and I'm so happy to be part of this SAT Possible to offer career counseling, to mentor students, to mentor the youth, to help them pursue the right career path, to help them choose the right college, the right courses, and guide them towards the admission process. Thank you very much. Over to you, Surbhi.
Yeah, hi, Anjana. So we have a couple of queries which you can take up in the chat box. So one of them is law program abroad. Okay. What does it require? And another question was, is SAT required for MIT? And then we have which grade students give the SAT exam?
Okay. So about the law program abroad, again, just like medical in US, you do not do law at the undergrad level. So you do undergrad in any subjects. You only take the law exam for the law studies at the master's level in US. That's not the same for UK. UK, you can do undergrad law at the undergrad level. You have to take another exam there, which is called LNAT, which is similar to the CLAT exam. So you have to submit an application along with your statement of purpose. Then if you qualify there, then you have to take the LNAT. And then there is an interview at many universities. So all this put together gives you the admission. That's how they look at it. Okay, what was your second question? Sorry, when do they qualify for SAT? When you consider yourself ready. But I would say that you should take the first real attempt not before 10th grade. after 10th, just after 10th is the right time to take the exam. But you can start preparation as early as end of 9th grade or beginning of 10th grade, alongside your academics. Does MIT need SAT? Yes, MIT needs SAT score, of course. It is required. And let me clarify, with the pandemic, you may hear test optional, that universities are going test optional. Test optional does not mean no SAT. Again, I will repeat, if there are two applications of the same type and one has not taken the SAT and the other has taken the SAT, the one who has taken the SAT will get an edge because they see the international aptitude level of the student through the SAT score, which will not be visible in the application of the similar type student when they are looking at it. This is what about is there? Okay. What else? Yes. For law university abroad, not for UK. Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, I was saying that there are lots of other questions which I think will be covered in Mehak's speech as well. So we will probably bring Mehak in, and if there are any unanswered questions, I would request the students to repeat their questions again. I hope that is okay. So because Mehak Verma has just joined us, as you all know, she is the Associate Director Outreach for College Board. And all the queries that I see coming in the chat box, I think will be adequately covered in her speech. So at this point, I would like Mehak to come in. I welcome her. And I hope students will benefit a lot from what Mehak has to share about the SAT exam conducted by the College Board.
Thank you so much, Surbi. I hope you are able to hear me.
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Great. Just give me a second, please. All right. Thank you, Surbi, and many thanks to Sajal and Clark team for this amazing opportunity. I will just quickly introduce myself to you all. My name is Mehak Verma, and I represent College Board in India and South and Central Asia. I support College Board's outreach and market-related activities, and my job essentially is to support the educators, students, and parents to ensure that you are able to successfully use our programs and services. So some of the educators may already know me, and those who don't, I would love to connect with you, at some point of time to support your work that you do in service of students and educators. So before we begin, I just want to make sure that you're able to hear me properly and you can see my slides, going up and down on your screen. Is it happening?
No, we can see you, we can see the slide, but I do not think I can see the slide change.
Just a second, just a second. Is it happening now?
Yes.
Great, great, great.
Meanwhile, I would like if Anjana and Sajal can check the questions in Q&A because they have mounted up. That'll be great.
All right. So what we learned today, we'll be learning about the SAT suite of assessments that comprises of PSAT 8-9, Psat 10, PSAT and MSQT, and SAT, role of SAT in college admissions, format of SAT, SAT scores, official SAT practice on Khan Academy, SAT acceptance in India, and India Scholars Program. Now, those of you who are not familiar with College Board is the organization that owns and conducts the SAT, PSAT, and advanced placement programs. So we are a 100-year-old mission-driven, not-for-profit organization that connects students to college success and opportunity. College Board was set up in the year 1899, so by a consortium of 12 of the world's top universities, including Princeton, Cornell, Columbia, University of Pennsylvania, NYU. So today, the membership association is made of over 6,000 of the world's leading educational universities, and we conduct our programs across 185 countries and help more than 7 million students to college success and opportunity. So a quick note for everyone here, all those students who may not have a free College Board account, you can sign up for this account after this presentation gets over. The link for the signing up for the College Board account is given on your screen. So this free account gives students access to all our programs, that is the PSAT, SAT, and the advanced placement. PSAT and SAT are the integral part of SAT suite of assessments, and we are going to talk about these assessments in detail during this session. AP program typically requires students to do college level work while they are still in high school, which is quite challenging for the students in grade 8 or 9, and we usually recommend that students in grade 11 and 12 who are academically ready should consider taking AP. So it also gives the free College Board account gives you the access to our free college planning tool, which is known as the Big Future, and it will also help you stay updated on College Board news, events, webinars, etc. Now, Big Future is the College Board's free college planning tool, which is designed to support students like you from your first thoughts about college to your first day on campus. And Big Future will help you handle the college planning process, find the college where you thrive, and would help you take a look at your interests and career options. I'll share the link for Big Future towards the end of the presentation. I would like to spend some time on this slide to explain you about the SAT suite of assessments. As you can depict from this slide, that SAT suite of assessments is an integrated system of tests that comprises of PSAT 8-9, Psat 10, Psat NMSQT, and SAT. Now, these tests measure what you're learning in class and what you need to do to succeed in college and beyond. So these tests measure the same knowledge and skills for different grade levels, that is from grades 8 to 12. And these tests use a common score scale so that you and your educators get consistent feedback that will help monitor growth across grades, and it will help identifying areas that are in need of improvement. So our research clearly tells us that getting ready for college and career readiness is not a point of time. In fact, it is a process that requires you to focus on skills right from grade 8 onwards, and that will keep you on track for college readiness. So that is why we offer a suite of 3 assessments, and the suite of assessments, these are not tied to each other. These are tied to each other, not only through common content, but through a common scale that measures student growth over the years. So PSAT, the first test in the SAT suite of assessments, as you can see on the slide in front of you, is the PSAT 8-9. Now, PSAT 8-9 measures what you are learning in school, and it helps determine if you are on track for high school and beyond. So Basically, PSAT 8-9 is the foundation for understanding your progress as you enter high school. And usually we recommend 8th and 9th graders to take the PSAT 8-9. And PSAT 8-9 tests the same skills and knowledge as PSAT 10 and SAT, but in a way that's appropriate for the 8th and the 9th graders. So next in the SAT suite of assessments is PSAT NMSQT and PSAT 10. So PSAT 10 and PSAT NMSQT provides a check-in on your progress, and it pinpoints the areas for improving readiness. And PSAT 10 is offered in spring to grade 10 students, and PSAT NMSQT, it's a standardized test that 11th graders and some 10th graders take in October. So usually US citizens should take PSAT NMSQT in grade 11 to qualify for the National Merit Scholarship qualifying test. So PSAT 8-9, PSAT 10, PSAT NMSQT are tightly aligned to the SAT and serve as excellent ways for you to preview and practice for the SAT exam. And so finally, we have the SAT that provides a powerful connection to college. And most of you must be familiar with the SAT. It is the world's most widely used standardized test for undergrad studies and measures students on their reading, writing, and math skills. So SAT provides a powerful connection to college. As you know that millions of students write the SAT across the globe, including in India, and use the SAT to demonstrate their readiness to pursue college education, and making it easier for you to show your best work to universities. And what SAT measures, it measures what you learn in school and what you need to succeed in university. And SAT is administered 5 times in a year in India, and it makes easier for you to show your best work. And it is widely used standardized test for undergrad studies that measures students, as I said, on their reading, writing, and math skills. The SAT and college admissions. SAT is globally available test accepted by US and many international colleges and universities. All Indian universities that are part of the College Board's India Higher Education Global Alliance initiative also accept SAT as an entrance exam for students from India and around the world. Now let's look at how this works with college admissions. The SAT measures something real and reasonable. So skills like, basic maths, statistics, analytical reading that you need for college. So the combination of test scores and grades is the best predictor of college success. So on average, SAT scores add 15%, more predictive power above grades alone for understanding how you will perform in college. SAT also helps colleges recruit and support, a more diverse group of students via student search service. So the SAT test scores are one piece of a holistic admission process and is never used as the sole factor in whether a student gets into college or not. Also here, I would like to mention that as schools continue to navigate the challenges posed by the COVID-19, college board's top priorities are the health and safety of the students and educators. Schools and test centers, make individual decisions about whether to administer the test or not. So while the pandemic is still impacting students' ability to take the SAT, we are still seeing a lot of demand from students to take the SAT. Also, the colleges and universities understand that not all students are able to take a college admission test, because of the test center closures and reduced capacity due to COVID-19. So most colleges aren't requiring a test score for the upcoming admission cycle. Although almost all colleges still accept SAT scores, most are rightfully being flexible for students, that are unable to test. So if a college or university has a test optional admission policy, it doesn't mean that they aren't interested in seeing the SAT score. Some colleges that are test optional for admissions require SAT scores for other uses, such as academic counseling, placement, or for institutional research, or they might consider SAT scores when awarding merit scholarship. So we recommend to send SAT scores even if many universities do not require them for admissions. It will keep your options open. You'll stand out among the applicants. You will be given an edge over the other students. Also, you will become eligible for getting the scholarship. And also, if you have a low GPA, but you do well on the SAT, you are letting colleges know that you have the potential to succeed in college level classes. So the SAT remains, I reiterate, it remains one of the most accessible, affordable, and fair ways for you to show universities what you know and helps connecting to colleges. But please be sure to read each college's policy carefully so you understand what you need to do to qualify for admission, scholarship, financial aid, etc. So let's just sum up the benefits of the SAT suite of assessments. Scores are vertically aligned, allowing you and your educators to see progress and growth over the time. It links you to AP Potential Tool. Now, what is AP Potential Tool? AP Potential Tool identifies those students that are likely to succeed in advanced placement exams. So what's advanced placement exam? It gives the opportunity to students to study college level coursework while they are still in high school. So the AP Potential Tool uses scores from SAT and PSAT related assessments to provide prediction for AP exams to identify if you have the potential to succeed in AP exams or not. Also, SAT suite of assessments, that is the PSAT 8-9, Psat 10, and SAT, connect students with colleges and universities. So when you opt into the student search service, allows you to let colleges know that you're interested in being recruited. And these assessments link you to millions of dollars in college scholarships, including the National Merit Scholarship Qualification. Now, what is National Merit Scholarship Qualification? This is a program, an academic competition for recognition and scholarship that began in somewhere around 1955, and approximately 1.5 million high school students enter the National Merit Scholarship Qualification each year. So high school students who meet the program entry and participation requirements enter the National Merit Scholarship Program. But how? By taking the PSAT, that is the Preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, that is the PSAT NMSQT. Beyond admission, SAT suite of assessments, the higher ed relies on the SAT suite of assessments to place students into courses, determines what support students may need to aid in their retention and ultimately become a successful graduate. So in all, SAT suite of assessments provides universities with one piece of information about students. Now, what are the key features of the SAT? Okay. Now, the SAT takes 3 hours and consists of evidence-based reading and writing and the math section. The evidence-based reading and writing is further divided into reading test and writing and language test. Math section is further divided into no calculator portion and calculator allowed portion. So most of the questions are multiple choice, though some of the math questions ask you to write in the answer rather than select it. So on all questions, there's no penalty for guessing. So if you're not sure of the answer, it's better to guess than leave the response blank. Now the key features of the SAT. The key features of the SAT are word in context. Now, what does that mean? The SAT doesn't test students on vocabulary in isolation, nor do we encourage, rote learning of words. Now, you are tested on the usage of a word in a sentence or in a certain context. So no longer you are required to use flashcards, to memorize words, only to forget them, the minute you put down your test pencils. So SAT, and does not encourage rote learning. You are tested on the usage of a word in a sentence or in a context. Then is the command of evidence. So questions, here ask students to interpret, synthesize, and use evidence, that is found in a wide range of passages and informational graphics, such as graphs, tables, charts, in the areas of literature, non-fiction, humanities, science, history, social studies, and on topics about works and careers. Next is maths that matters the most, that focuses on topics important for progressing to more advanced mathematics, as well as topics that have a wide application in the real world. So while you may have to know a few formulas, but a lot of questions on maths can be solved by using a problem-solving approach, by treating them, as puzzles. Also, you will get passages that are based on issues that are relevant and grounded in the real world issues, including, analysis of texts that are based on issues and developments in sciences, social sciences, as well as the founding document or the Constitution. Remember, you may not be a US citizen, or you may not have any understanding of the US Constitution or founding documents, and we don't expect you also to have that knowledge. You simply have to read the passage thoroughly and answer questions based on what is given in the passage. And most importantly, SAT has no negative marking, and students can, can take educated guesses. On this slide, we are looking at the SAT scores and score ranges. So SAT score reports include the total score ranges from 400 to 1600. This is the sum of the two sections, the evidence-based reading and writing and math section. Section scores range from 200 to 800 each. That is the evidence-based reading and writing and the math section. So these are the two sections, and the section scores range from 200 to 800 each. Sorry. The test scores range from 10 to 40 each. So reading test, writing test make up the evidence-based reading and writing section, and maths test make up the math section. Then there are the cross-test scores, which range from 10 to 40. So items from each of the three tests, reading, writing, and maths, contribute to these scores. And then we have the sub-scores. So sub-scores is specific to each test, and items from both the reading test and the writing and language test contribute to words in context and command of evidence scores. So students get 1 total score, 2 section scores in evidence-based reading, writing, and maths, 3 test scores. The reading and writing and language test makes up the evidence-based reading and writing section. You get 2 cross-test scores, which come from questions on each of the 3 tests, that is reading, writing, and maths tests, which includes the analysis of texts that are based on issues and developments in sciences, history, and social sciences. And then there are even sub-scores, 4 associated with evidence-based reading and writing section, and 3 associated with the math section. So here, in the sub-scores, you are tested on command of evidence, word in context, heart of algebra, expression of ideas, etc. So these scores provide more detailed information about your strengths and areas in which you need to strengthen your skills. Now let's talk about the SAT acceptance in India and the India Global Higher Education Alliance. The College Board founded the India Global Higher Ed Alliance in 2018, which is a group of more than 50 respected universities in India and outside that are working together to make it easier for all qualified Indian students, regardless of income, regardless of geography, social class, to apply to and enroll in Indian universities and get a world-class education. So the Alliance has now grown to more than 45 top-notch universities in India, and they are committed to using SAT. So these Indian universities that you can see on your screen, and there's a longer list available on our website, accept SAT scores as part of the admission process, as you know, research shows it to be a reliable predictor of university success. So this makes it simpler for you to apply to multiple Indian universities at once with SAT score. More importantly, if you have taken the SAT, then you don't have to write the university entrance test to apply to any of these universities. So this is something very exciting, and this list is growing with more leading universities in India are coming on board. So here's an example of how some of these universities use the SAT. As you can see, they give SAT an equal weight to any other test, whether it's their own or a national entrance test. So SAT in India also connects students to scholarship opportunities. Our commitment to access and equity in India. So connecting low income, higher achieving students to quality higher education in India. So College Board's India Scholars Program offers low income students in India 2 ways to save money as they plan for university. So income eligible students who live in India and are in class 11 or 12 can apply for discount vouchers. Now these discount vouchers will save you up to 90% of SAT registration fees if your annual family income is less than 8 lakh rupees, and 50% SAT registration discount if the annual family income is between 8 lakh to 15 lakh rupees. Scholarships. So College Board also offers scholarships at our participating Indian universities, includes the full tuition fee waiver through graduation. So it's 100% tuition scholarship at leading innovative Indian universities. Now, the College Board India Scholars Program is designed to support the low-income meritorious students in India to access high-quality undergrad education for free at one of the esteemed India Global member universities. Now, it is full 100% tuition scholarship based on merit and means. So what is the eligibility criteria for getting the 100% tuition fee waiver at the participating universities? Now, qualified candidates must be living in India. Qualified candidates will be those who took the SAT on or after the October 2018. And they must have received SAT score of 1300 or higher out of 1600. And the annual family income should be less than 8 lakh rupees. So in 2020, 16 talented low-income students from all over India won the Scholars Award. And these scholars received admission and were enrolled at our IGA member universities such as Ashoka, Ahmedabad, Azim Premji, Flame, MS Ramaya, OP Jindal, Shiv Nadar. And in 2021, also we have identified 11 India scholars from Ashoka, NMIMS and Shiv Nadar respectively. And we will be felicitating and celebrating these scholars in the upcoming College Board Virtual Forum on February 10th. Now, here's the list of the participating universities in College Board that participates in the India Scholars Program, that is the 100% college tuition fee in India. So we have Ahmedabad, Azim, Priya, MS Ramaya, Sri World University of Design, Flaksha, Jacksom, Shulini, so on and so forth. Now we'll talk about the free official practice on Khan Academy. College Board has partnered with Khan Academy to provide students with free preparation materials to practice and prepare for the SAT. Now, this is a comprehensive test prep program covering every aspect of SAT prep. So what does it include? It includes full-length practice tests, video lessons, interactive problems, and instant feedback is given. So most importantly, it is completely free, and we have proven successes and data on students improving over 200 points in their test scores using this prep. So Khan Academy and the College Board developed official SAT practice to create free personalized tools so students, regardless of their income, can prepare for the SAT. So at Khan Academy, each student assesses a plan built just for them. So as mentioned earlier, I would request each one of you to create a College Board account, and by linking your College Board and Khan Academy accounts, you can use your scores on the new SAT, Psat NMSQT, Psat 10 and Psat 8-9 to determine what areas to focus on. And how you can link your College Board account to Khan Academy: log on to Khan Academy account. You'll have to click agree when asked if you want to link your College Board to Khan Academy account. Then sign into your College Board account. When prompted, click send button to authorize the account linking. And that's all. Start practicing thousands of full-length practice tests, video lessons on Khan Academy. So take advantage, of the extensive and free official SAT practice on Khan Academy, and set a goal of carving out time for practice. And it can even be in small chunks, but it has a potentially huge payoff. So the SAT is administered 5 times in a year in India. The 2021 December administration has been successfully conducted. The 2022 SAT dates are on your screen. So you should register for the March 12th SAT by February 11 and for May admin by April 8. So all deadlines expire at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time US. The SAT test dates after May this year will be available in June. And how to register for SAT? You have to sign into your College Board account, select register for the SAT, complete your personal information, create your student profile, select your test center, upload your photo, complete checkout, and print your test ticket. Acceptable forms of identification for the SAT are valid passport with your name, photograph, and signature, or valid Aadhaar card with your name and photograph. Sending scores. So I would like to tell you here that as part of the test fee that you pay to write the SAT, you get free score sends to 4 institutions of your choice with a nominal $12 fee for any additional institution. So students can send 4 free score reports to colleges every time they register for the SAT. However, there is an additional benefit for Indian students. We allow you to apply to any number of the 46 Indian partner institutions free. So this is over and above the 4 free score sends to foreign universities. So which essentially means you can take benefit of the free score sends to the 46 Indian institution and also send 4 free score sends to 4 foreign institutions or any Indian institution that has not partnered with College Board. And students who have taken the SAT multiple times can choose which of their scores to send and not necessarily, the last score. Now, this slide is for the educators. If we have school principals and coordinators, if your school would like to get associated with College Board, a CEB code is a unique 6-digit code assigned to a school by College Board on request. And in India, over 500 leading schools have a CEB code. Now with CEB code, your school will be listed on College Board website as one of the top schools in country conducting the PSAT and SAT exams. You'll become eligible to conduct the PSAT, AP, and SAT exams at your school, receive reports of all your students taking the SAT, receive detailed educators report for your students in grades 8, 9, and 10 who have taken the SAT. So in case you would like to get coded with us, please get in touch with me and I will share the form to receive a CEB code for your school. So this brings to the end of the presentation, and since we are time bound, I would like you to send your questions to me over the email. Please feel free to send your queries to mverma@collegeboard.org.in, and I will personally reach out to you and will try to respond to all your queries within 4 to 5 business days. Thank you so much. And last but not the least, I thank CLAT, especially Sajal and Surbi, for organizing this event and for giving this opportunity to raise the awareness about SAT among students and educators. I once again, convey my gratitude to the entire CLAT team. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mehak, for your time. I know you were not feeling well, but thank you so much for accommodating this webinar.
Thank you so much, Surbi. Thank you.
So I see a lot of students have lots and lots of queries, and we would like to share with you a counseling link which you can click on and register for, because your queries are so individual queries, and you have small queries like which program and etc. So please check your chat box. Preeti must have shared with you a form counseling link. All you have to do is click on that link and get a single free one-on-one counseling with us, where we will try to accommodate as much of your query as possible. So this is for a single one-on-one counseling with us. If you have seen the form and are registering, please do say show of hands. Let me see how many of you are doing that. Great. So at this point, I would like to bring Preeti in. She's going to share a couple of details with you regarding our batch start dates and in what all way we can help you out with your preparation. So we have demo classes lined up tomorrow and day after for SAT preparation. So I'm launching a poll. I would like to know how many of you would be interested in the demo class. This will help us understand excellent. So I'm going to give you another 30 seconds to the 50 odd students who have not answered in the poll. Great. So Preeti will take for about 5-7 minutes of your time. She will introduce you to the SAT Possible team, as well as the demo class details. And she has already shared with you a one-on-one counseling link, which will allow you one interaction with our counselor. You have already met her, Anjana, and she will try to help you out as much as possible, because all your queries require, sort of talking to you, and some of them are not possible to answer in the chat box. Great. So I'm ending this poll. And over to Preeti. And then we come back with our final panel, which will comprise university candidates with Anjana and Roshan, who will again take you through the entire admission process and an overall understanding of what universities abroad are looking at. Over to Preeti.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Surbhi ma'am. My name is Preeti and I'm a career counselor representing SAT Possible here. And I'm going to talk about our courses and about our mentors and everything in detail. As you all have been attending this session and you have have a fair idea about what SAT is all about, what is the exam like, what is the pattern of the paper, and how now the most important thing is how you should prepare for this particular exam. So it is as you have seen already that it's an aptitude test basically comprising of sections like English and maths, and the role of a teacher or a mentor here is really very important, because it's a practice driven exam. It's not a knowledge based exam wherein you're going to be asked, as Mehak ma'am was also saying, that it's not an exam wherein you need to ratify everything. This is an exam wherein you need to practice. So for practicing and then identifying your strengths and weaknesses, you need a mentor who can guide you very well, as in, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, how you need to work upon that, and all these things. So coming down to SAT Possible, like Surbhi ma'am initially at the start of the session, she told about CLAT Possible, which is our institution which we are running for the last 11-12 years now. And every year our focus is just on the results. It is not on the number of students that we intake. It is about the results that we are always proud about. We are always proud about the teachers who have been teaching the students, who have been mentoring them throughout. So this is the same pool of teachers, the best of the teachers who will be teaching you for the SAT preparation, for the SAT exam also. Depending on when you wish to write the SAT exam, since it happens 5 times in a year, and depending on the class that you are in, So you'll decide when to write the SAT exam. And in fact, I shared the one-to-one counseling link wherein we can talk in detail when you are eligible and when you should write the exam so that you're fully prepared. Because, the exam, the SAT, taking admission in any international college or maybe the Indian colleges also, SAT exam is a prerequisite, and then comes the second phase, which is selecting the colleges and applying for the colleges, for the application procedure and everything. But the most important thing is writing the SAT exam and scoring a very good score in that. So for that, we have Surbhi ma'am. She is a Hindu college alumni, and she is she formed the skeletal framework of the academics of CLAT possible, of the possible education, under which we have different verticals like CLAT possible, and then we have the SAT possible. And she was also nominated for Fulbright to UC Davis in 2009. She did her PhD in English. So, and she is the closest teacher or mentor, I'll say, to the students, because if you just come to her, you'll find all the students always with her, like for any kind of discussion, as in not only the content discussion, but also like, ma'am, how to prepare, and this is where I'm lagging, so how I should go for it. So she is a great motivator. Then we have Sajal sir. He's the founding team of member of the CLAT Possible, and he has years of experience in teaching and writing material for critical reasoning, which is definitely a very important part of the SAT exam. So he also would be mentoring you for the SAT exam, SAT preparation. Then we have Rahul sir. He is an alumni of IIM Ahmedabad, and he's been mentoring students in the math section, and again, he has been scoring 100 percentile for the last 3 years consequently, and he's like I can say he can definitely help you to strategize for the exam, because this SAT exam is an aptitude exam, and he's been helping students for CAT and CLAT, IPM and SAT exam, what should be the strategy so that you can score maximum, because he himself does that. So he shares his experience, like how you can do better and you can score more. Then we have Tarun sir. He got a perfect score in SAT, and he's also a CAT and other entrance aptitude exam trainer, and he teaches maths again. So again, since he's himself a perfect scorer in SAT, definitely he is one person you should look upon for any kind of guidance for the SAT exam. Then we have Smita ma'am. She's again a PhD and has 12 years of experience in teaching communication skills to undergraduate and postgraduate students. So again, these are the pool of teachers who will be teaching you, because it is very important that you get the best of the teachers, the right kind of teachers who guide you in the best way for the exam. Because scoring a score above 1500 is a challenge. 1500 ke niche, I'll say may not be a challenge, because you can practice through there's so many material available on the website. There are so many free material actually available on the website. There are so many lessons available on the website, and with the COVID happening for the last 2 years, we all have gone online only. But interacting with the teachers, having live sessions with the teachers, getting your doubts cleared on time, these are the very important critical part of the preparation of this particular exam. So we would be starting with the classes, and in fact, I'll just come to the program details. But as I told you, we can talk one-to-one. You just please book your the counseling session. We'll talk one-to-one, because every student will have their own queries, and you'll have your own dates when you wish to write the exam. You'll be in a different class, so I cannot generalize everything right now here. So we'll talk one-to-one and we'll discuss in detail about it. But yes, what we are offering is, as I told about the mentors, so you are getting the finest of the mentors. There will be rigorous classes, there will be practice sessions, there will be class handouts given in each and every class. Class handouts will be more of practice exercises that you'll be getting, that you'll be solving in the class. You'll be discussing it with the teacher. They'll share their approach, you share your approach. This kind of discussion is going to happen in the class. We'll also provide you an online portal of Magoosh, which includes 750 practice questions. There will be video and text explanation of all questions. There will be practice test papers also, and there will be a study schedule according to which you need to study and plan your the entire preparation. Plus, we'll provide you the study material also. Most importantly, as I told you, the mentors would be there with you throughout. So there will be personalized session to build your SAT strategy, as in how you should write the exam so that you score above 1500 in the exam and you get the desired college. So these kind of things would be there, which we have been doing for last 11, 12 years. And the same thing, the same pedagogy we are going to follow in the SAT preparation also. So this is all about us. Please, yes, there are some more information. We are also conducting demo classes so that you have a fair idea, what I've spoken was true. So please do attend the demo classes. We have a maths session on 24th of January, and 25th January, we have a session on English, wherein the timings are 5 to 6 in the evening. The link you'll be getting in your mail. We'll share the link in your mail. So please do, again, register for that, and you can attend the demo classes for the same. The personalized counseling session link I have already shared. So please register yourself, and we'll call you and we'll speak to you in detail regarding your requirements. Yeah. Anything like to ask, please put it in the chat box. I'll be there behind the screen answering your queries. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Preeti. Also, please share the demo class link in the chat box with everyone so that they can
I'll do that. Yeah.
Register right now only.
Sure.
Great. So that was from our SAT Possible counseling desk. Preeti, will you stop sharing your screen? Great. So we will be talking about a lot of things that you have heard in Mehak's speech with respect to the score and how to prepare. So Tarun is going to talk to you on Monday, as Preeti has already shared with you. He will break up the SAT score for the maths part, which has the calculator, non-calculator based questions, and the score range, and what comprises the bulk of the questions here. I will be spending time on reading and writing, the two sections, evidence-based reading and evidence-based writing. And I will tell you in detail what type of questions you get and the way you have to go about preparing in the English class, which you will meet me in on Tuesday. So I'll break down the sections to their basic units, what comes in these sections, how you have to prepare for the evidence-based writing section, what type of grammar questions, punctuation, vocabulary questions you need. As has been shared by Mehak, it's mostly context-based words. Similarly, in the reading sections, what is main point, what type of passages do you get, what kind of reading you have to elevate, and how many questions. I mean, you can see the time allotted versus the questions asked. So how you have to divide your time over there. So we look forward to meeting you on Monday and Tuesday to spend a great deal of time only on the paper, the types of questions, the way you have to prepare, and how the classes will pan out at SAT Possible. So more on this on Monday and Tuesday. At this point, I would like to bring in Roshan with our next panel. Roshan, I hope you are still with us.
Yes, hi, Surbhi.
Yes, so Roshan Gandhi, I think he needs really no introduction. Roshan is the CEO of CMS Schools, which is the largest chain of schools in a single city in the world. Roshan is a graduate from Oxford University, and he has come in with a vision, with his approach, and is revolutionizing the face of school education in at least Lucknow, where we see the biggest school chain of the world, which is City Montessori Schools. So this school has always been a great place of study, but with a young dynamic leader like Roshan, the school has seen a lot of positive change. And in fact, some of the CMSs are SAT centers as well, students and even Psat centers, which of course Mehak was talking to you about. So Psat, SAT, all this, how you can prepare. As I said, you have to just log on to our counseling link and we will be helping you out with the same. So a lot of students from CMS also take the SAT paper. They get a lot of scholarships under the guidance of their mentors. So we thought there was nobody better than Roshan to represent and chair this panel, where we are talking to 3 universities, Lehigh, McMaster, and Durham. So I hand over the proceeding now to Roshan, who will introduce the speakers and take you forward with the next panel with the selection process and how to apply.
Yeah, thank you so much, Surbhi, for kindly inviting me and for that introduction, and looking forward to a valuable panel session where I'm sure all the attendees today will have a lot to learn from the representatives here. And thanks a lot to SAT Possible for bringing us all together to discuss this important topic. So we have with us today representatives from 3 universities. Ms. Savi Agarwal is representing Durham University in the United Kingdom as their company advisor. Mr. Shishir Upadhyay is representing Lehigh University from the United States, is the senior advisor on recruitment. And Ms. Prerna Tripathi is representing McMaster University, Canada. She's head for the India region and is the international recruitments officer from McMaster. We also have with us on the panel Ms. Anjana, independent counselor, who I think we all had a lot of insights from earlier and can add some additional insights in this panel today. So we're going to discuss, generally various aspects of the admissions processes in these respective universities and in these 3 different countries, where I'm sure there will be many of the 200 attendees here today who might be interested in applying to universities in these countries. And before we go ahead, if we could go in the order of Savi, Shishir, and then Prerna, if you could just briefly give a quick introduction of your universities.
Okay. Thank you so much, Roshan and Sophie, for giving us this opportunity. And good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out on a Sunday evening and joining the session. So my name is Savi Agarwal, and I represent Durham University in India. So Durham University is a world top 100 university, currently ranked 82nd in the world. It's located in the northeastern part of England, approximately 2.5 hours away from London and 10 minutes away from Newcastle City, which is where we have the closest international airport. It's the 3rd oldest university in the UK and currently also within the top 5 universities in the UK. It's a member of the prestigious Russell Group of University. We offer a unique collegiate system with 17 colleges on campus for student accommodation. Apart from Durham, only Oxford and Cambridge offer a collegiate system, and our collegiate system is quite unique to theirs. As a university, we are now ranked 52nd in the world when it comes to graduate employability, and we are ranked 26th in the world when it comes to one of the most international universities. We have staff and students coming from 150 different countries. The university has a gold standard in teaching excellence framework, and we have 83% of our research is categorized as internationally excellent or world leading. So, and if anybody here in the audience is a Harry Potter fan or an Avengers Endgame fan, so you would definitely recognize, the University Cathedral behind me. It's been represented in, both these movies. So thank you, Roshan. Again, over to Shishir.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for inviting us here today. And it's wonderful to be in front of everyone. I have personal connect with Lucknow because I am from Lucknow. So that's one thing which is always there. So I represent Lehigh University. Lehigh is in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and we are close to New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia. So all the 3 major cities are very nearby, and that also gives students an opportunity to look for employment once they complete the university program. And we have amazing links with the employers in not only these regions but also the West Coast, because Lehigh has a West Coast office also. We are a top 50 US national university established in 1865. So quite old university and quite a prestigious one also. Very well endowed. So the student never faced any difficulty when they are at Lehigh. We have 5 different colleges, which has College of Arts and Sciences, College of Engineering, College of Health, College of Education, and recently we have also opened up College of Health, which is an amazing program, and especially focusing on public health and population health, which is a need of the hour, if I may say, today in current COVID situations. So that's always beneficial. We are a medium-sized university. If you go online and look at Lehigh campus, you will see, it looks like a Hogwarts and nowadays Harry Potter is all around us with recently completing 20 years. So I would definitely recommend all of you to just go to Lehigh's website. It's a very research focused university and focus on interdisciplinary education. And with that, I'd like to invite Prerna to talk about McMaster.
Thank you, Shishir. And Lucknow is one thing common between, I think, most of us. Good evening, everyone. It's lovely to see you all on a Sunday evening. And I represent McMaster. McMaster is a public research university ranked in the world's top 70 universities and ranked 4 in Canada. We are a part of U15, which is a group of research intensive universities in Canada. And we have led all Canadian institutions as the most research intensive university for the last 4 years in a row. McMaster is home to more than 70 research centers, and our professors generate an average of $400,000 in research funding, more than double the national average. It's a mid-sized institution with approximately 30,000 undergrad students, out of which 15% are international, representing 120 countries across the globe, and our alumni base is of more than 200,000, representing 162 countries. So that reflects the diverse community we have. And with the McMaster teaching model, which has been adopted worldwide, that is teaching in small groups, tutorials paired with objectives, project work, and with more than 1,000 full-time faculty members, we were the recipient of Global Teaching Excellence Award. Our key performance indicators would be our first year retention rate, which is 91%, and our graduate employment rate, which is 93%. Apart from the best-in-class education, experiential learning, and diverse classroom, McMaster has a lot of other experiences to offer. Our campus is located in Hamilton, that is the 9th largest city in Canada. It's a port city on the western tip of Lake Ontario, known for its network of waterfalls. It's actually the waterfall capital of the world. An hour drive from Toronto, so you see it has that location advantage as well. The campus is connected to kilometers of nature trails, biking paths, and it's just a walk away from the Niagara Escarpment. We have 300 plus social, academic, cultural clubs, one of the largest university fitness centers in Canada, a 50-meter pool, a 200-meter indoor track, skill building classes like yoga, Pilates, triathlon, etc., etc. There's a lot more to tell, but since we have time limitations, I'll just stop here. And with that, I pass it on to Roshan. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much to all three of you for introducing your universities. And now, based on that, I want to then go around the three of you again. And for our students, you're all representing different countries. So they would want to know, what are the advantages for Indian students of potentially applying to your country? So if you could go around in the opposite order this time, starting with Prerna, why would Indian students want to study in Canada?
I think that's a very good, interesting question that we get most of the times. So I always tell my students, a destination selection is not a popularity contest. It's a very, very strategic decision that you have to take. And it's a 5-step decision-making process. But since I represent Canada, I'll tell you why Canada, you should be opted for. So the things that parents and students, they look for is, number one, quality of education, whether it is going to be cost effective, what learning opportunities are there, safe and supportive environment, is it possible to stay in the country after you graduate, and what kind of experience we'll be having. So Canada checks all these boxes. It's home to some of the best universities in the world and attracts students from all nooks and corners, and you get to study with the best and brightest. All the degrees are very well recognized. When coming to cost effective, it is known for having some of the lowest university tuition fees among English speaking countries. And there are good scholarship options, work study programs which are available with the universities. The co-op and an internship, which is a very unique feature of Canadian institutions. You'll find it in almost all the universities. We are ranked 1 in the world when it comes to quality of life, and it's one of the safest countries. It's very ethnically and linguistically diverse. It has a good job market, economically stable, very warm and welcoming. And of course, the post-graduation work permit, which allows students to stay and work in Canada for up to 3 years. So yeah, I think all these factors make Canada one of the most sought after destinations for Indian students.
Thank you. Yeah, particularly the work permit. It's a very attractive thing to a lot of Indian students, I think, possibly competing with some of the other countries represented here. But let's hear from Shishir about the US.
Sure. I think one thing which I want to highlight about US is that I don't need to talk about why US is important, because if you see all the major tech companies where they have headquarters, I think the answer is US only. Traditionally, most of the Indian students they prefer to go to US, and there's no surprise there because of the quality of education that is being provided at US University for hundreds of years, I must say. And not only them, the curriculum that they follow, the industry readiness that they have for their program, the research collaboration that they have, the funding that they have, all of these parameters are pretty high. Apart from that, US universities provide flexibility. How much a person who's just completing their 12th knows about what's best for them. And that's the best value at US, that even after in your sophomore year or junior year, if you want to change your major, you can do that. And once you can go to the program undecided, you can say that, hey, I'm just interested into going into engineering. I don't know whether computer science is best for me or electrical is best for me, or I want to switch over from engineering, I want to go into health. And that's mainly possible in US. I think that's the flexibility that US provides. So that's one value apart from all the other things that we provide. US, we have 12 months work permit, which can be stretched for 24 months more, so around 3 years for STEM majors, but not for non-STEM majors. So definitely lots of value. And even if you want to go for non-STEM, and you can still have an opportunity to go for H-1B right after your 12 months of OPT. So I think if you think about all the CEOs from all the major corporations, most of them, they studied in US, worked in US, and grown in US also.
So more flexible learning opportunities is a big thing to come out of what you just said. The courses are structured in a way which is quite unique in the US, and that can be very attractive to a lot of Indian students. Savi, the UK, please.
Definitely. So when we talk about UK, so like Canada and the US, UK also offers internationally recognized degrees that are accepted across the globe. Now, the bachelors that we offer in the UK are for 3 years, and the masters that we do are for 1 year, which not only helps students to save up on their time, but it also adds up and it makes it more affordable because you save up on the tuition fee and the living expenses as well. Now, the education is research-led, which basically for students, what it means is that the research output helps universities gain more funding and exposure with employers. And also it helps you to study the advanced techniques by leading academics in your particular field. With the new introduction of the GIR, which is the graduate immigration route, students will now have an opportunity to be able to utilize their skills and knowledge acquired from the degree and gain relevant work experience with organizations in the UK. A lot of tech companies are also now starting, they've set up their bases in the UK as well. So there's a lot more exposure that is now available to students. UK is also one of the most multiculturally diversified countries. So you will be studying with students from all across the globe. And with the quality of education that is provided in the UK, it's not a surprise that 20% of the universities in the top 100 are from within UK. And also, I think one of the biggest advantages also is the time difference and distance from India. So it's just a roughly 4.5 to 5.5 hour time difference, which makes it much more easier for students to be able to be in touch with their family and their loved ones. So I think these are some of the most important factors. But also, apart from that, if you're looking for that quintessential typical British experience and, you want to experience those winters, you want to have those beautiful autumns, so I think UK is a lovely, beautiful place to be in. Thank you, Roshan.
I mean, I would completely agree. I was born in the UK and also studied in the UK at the University of Oxford. And I had a fantastic experience there. And what you're saying about research-led courses is very true. So I may be biased in favor of the UK, but at the same time, I'm going to ask you the hardest questions as well for the sake of transparency. What are the kinds of availability of scholarship opportunities in the UK? And what is the possibility for getting a work permit afterwards in the UK?
Definitely. Thank you, Roshan. So I think these are some of the most common questions that students normally have. So when you talk about the kind of scholarship opportunities that are there in the UK, so a lot of universities Russell Group universities have now started introducing South Asia or India-specific scholarships. There are a lot more automatic scholarships or guaranteed scholarships available for some of the most popular programs such as business, engineering, computer science. There are also the government scholarships, which are the Commonwealth Underachieving Scholarship, which are 100% scholarships that students can definitely apply for. So all in all, I think a lot of universities are now offering some really specific, a lot of wonderful opportunities and scholarships to students from India. So for example, Durham now has introduced an India-specific scholarship, which is a £5,000 per year tuition fee scholarship for all students coming in for our undergrad and postgrad programs. So it's an automatic scholarship. You do not have to apply for it separately. Once you put in an application, you'll automatically be considered for scholarships.
£5,000. Just for information, that's approximately 5 lakh rupees. Yes, yeah.
That's correct. And when we talk about the GIR, so after the Brexit, there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of scope available for Indian students, and the UK and Indian policies are also quite aligned. And UK is now working more closely with the Indian government to develop more opportunities for Indians to come study and get into the workforce, get into the manpower. So the GIR, which gives you an additional 2 years of stay back, is a good opportunity for you to be able to, experience whatever you're learning in the classroom structure and implement it in a real-life world scenario, gain some relevant work experience with some top-notch companies. And then you also get the opportunity to then move outside of UK, or if you want, you can stay back in the UK as well now with the new immigration point system.
Okay, great. So just in summary, on the issue of staying in the country, in Canada, there's a clear 3-year policy. In the US, there's a 12-month policy with a possibility of extension for an additional 2 years. In the UK, it's a points-based immigration policy, which is newly introduced, where depending on the contribution that you can make to the society in the UK, they'll give you a score, and based on that score, they'll decide whether to admit you in the country or not. Yeah. Great. Okay, so coming on to the next question, students will want to know how to apply to the universities in the different countries and what are the kinds of things that are being looked for. So if I go through each of you, if you could please shed light on what is the nature of the application process, and in particular, how important is extracurricular activity for admission versus, say, traditional academic performance. So this time, if we start with Shishir, please.
Sure, definitely. Thank you. So Lehigh is one of the more selective university when it comes for admissions, and those universities generally follow holistic admission review. And in US, we have a tendency to look at extracurriculars a bit more than other destinations. So definitely how the students are performing over the 4 years, because traditionally in US we consider high school from 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So most of the decisions for those universities who are, Common App only university, for example, Lehigh is a Common App only university. So the deadline for us is 1st Jan. So by that time, students don't even have results of their, 12th examination. And so we believe in, the regular performance and how the students are performing, and consistency is the key. So how they are doing in 9th, 10th, and 11th, and if they are well in certain regards, it can be sports, it can be, community engagement, it can be, science fairs, or whatever they are bringing in. So who they are beyond academics, because grades can give us a picture regarding how they are doing academically. Other way to express how they are good academically is the test scores, like, ACT or SAT. So these are things by which they can showcase their academic preparedness. And if suppose someone who's not having amazing, grades, and they want to showcase that, yes, they have excellent academic credentials, they can give this test scores and showcase that academic side of it. So that way, we definitely look at all the aspect of applications, and where the essays, supplemental essays, letter of recommendation also play their own role.
Okay, so you're looking for a holistic picture about the child, not just the academic score, but looking at what kind of person they are, what kind of contribution they'll bring
Yes.
to the university. That's a key admissions criteria in the US. Great. Savi, what about in the UK?
Yes, of course. So for UK, we actually have a common entry application system as well, which is called the UCAS application system. UCAS stands for basically Universities and Colleges Admission Services. And this is the application portal for all UK universities. So for through the UCAS website, the students will basically get an opportunity to apply to 5 different UK universities. You'll also be able to research courses on the website, find out more about the universities, right? And alongside, so while you're putting your application through UCAS, the documentation that we as a university or most UK universities would look at would be also your 10th scores, your 12th predicted scores. So for us also, the UCAS application deadline is towards the end of January. So we also basically, look at your predicted scores as well and your holistic profile that ways. Additionally, we also require a personal statement which speaks more about, so the 80% weightage in the personal statement has to be about your course, by the particular course, why you're so passionate about that particular program, how it really interests you, whatever you're doing, extracurricular activities, how you can relate them back to your interest in the particular program. And 20%, again, it's the holistic profile. That would be extracurricular activities, internships, volunteering experience. We also, look at letter of recommendations or reference letters. And we also look, so for law students, LNAT is compulsory. For some universities, for business students, maths would be compulsory. So you'll have to keep in mind some specific subject requirements. Apart from that, most UK universities do give an English waiver to students. So if in their year 12, they have above 80% in their English, most universities would not require an English proficiency test. So I think it's pretty straightforward. It has to come in through UCAS. The UCAS deadline's in January. So make sure that, you have your personal statement, your reference letters ready beforehand. And in case if you have above 80%, so you don't require an English proficiency test, but in case if you do not meet that requirement, so we do not expect you to submit that at the time of application. We understand it's your final year, it's your board exam, so we let you concentrate on that. So you can definitely apply post that. And in general, the university requirements would be somewhere between 75 to 95%, depending on which university you're applying to. So it really depends also on which course you're applying for. Okay, thank you so much.
Great. So there's clear, academic criteria stated out in the UK universities, and even on the personal statement, unlike maybe in the US where you want to balance your personal qualities more in the statement of purpose, in the UK it's like 80% focusing on the course, the passion for the course, the academic side, and 20% on your extracurricular activities. So there's a bit of a difference there. And what about in Canada, please, Prerna?
Yeah, so I represent a university which is based in Ontario. So I know most of the Ontario-based universities are accepting applications via OUAC, that is the Ontario University Application Center. That's the common platform for, and some of these, they may have a direct application also. For McMaster, it is only OUAC. Now, our programs are divided into 2 categories, non-supplemental and supplemental. So for all the non-supplemental programs, we only look at the academic averages. We'll require your 9th, 10th, 11th, and your 12th predicted to make the admission offer. For the supplemental application program, there is a supplementary application associated. So programs like computer science, engineering, the integrated business and humanities program, the iBiomed program, health science program, all these programs will have a supplementary application. Where the faculty would want to know more about you. There'll be questions around community building, what kind of internships you have done, or what are your thoughts on various aspects like communications or anything. It can be anything. It can be a simple question as who's your idol in life? They may require a higher academic average. So academic average is very, very important if you look at McMaster. So for applying to social sciences, you'll need around 80%. And for a program like computer science, you may need an average of 94, 95%. And math, Math is one of the most important prerequisite which you'll see in most of the programs. Even if you're applying for a program like economics or business, math will be required. Now, a student who do not have math in their class 12, they can opt for a virtual high school program from an Ontario-based virtual high school and complete that requirement. This is applicable if they're lacking any prerequisite in their class 12. Now, English proficiency. We accept IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo, and PTE. 6.5 is the overall IELTS score that we look at with a minimum of 6. Now, students who are completing their education from an English medium institution, they can submit a letter from the school profile, and they may get an exemption at the discretion of the university. They may get a waiver. Having said that, IELTS is very, very important for the study permit purpose. So that it's advisable that all the students who are looking at Canada, they keep their IELTS score handy. SAT, again, as I said, that there are some programs, they have supplementary applications with them. So there the students have a chance to highlight their SAT scores if they have a very good SAT score and their extracurriculars. So McMaster is not going to ask for any LOR, any SOP upfront, but yes, they will. It's a good idea to highlight all these achievements, all your extracurriculars in your supplementary essays or applications. So yeah, that's how it works.
Thank you, Prerna. So again, in Canada, the focus is fairly heavily on the academic side for the admissions criteria. And they're looking at exam scores, not only 10th and 12th predicted, but actually even class 9th and 11th results, as you said. And you have a supplemental in which you can mention other things. And you touched upon the SAT score. I want to come back specifically to this because that's one of the big questions. So you already told us that it's not part of the main admissions criteria, but it can help on the supplemental, that it's an indicator if you've taken the SAT to the Canadian university. It's not a compulsory requirement, but a good indicator. In the UK, Savi, what's the role of the SAT?
So for most UK universities, there is no requirement of SATs or ACTs. But if you are aiming for a university like Oxford and Cambridge, they may have an additional requirement for SATs. But for all other Russell Group universities or private universities, we do not require SATs. It's purely academic. We'll just be looking at your 10th and 12th, and that's about it.
Right. So again, in the UK, it's maybe a supplemental thing, but it's not part of the core admissions process, the SAT score. So it's much more relevant to you, Shishir, and the US. Could you tell us a little bit about the SAT process, how it's looked at? And a lot of people have been asking in the questions, what's a good SAT score? So could you just speak to that question a little bit as well?
Sure, definitely. SAT, when we think about SAT, the biggest USP of SAT is that, that's acceptable in US because most of the students, when they apply to universities in US, even US citizens, most of them, they prepare for SAT, and that's the standardized test which is accepted. Either SAT or ACT, SAT more being, common in US also. So US, the people who read essays, they are very much aware about what's the value of a 1450 score or 1500 score. So they understand what sort of students we are looking at. And that's the benefit of, having that standardized test. In India, if you think about how many boards are there, there is a CBSC, there is the ICSC, there is IGCSC, there are state boards, then there are international IB boards, and every board marked differently. And if suppose someone who is having 35 in IB and there's someone who's having 82 in CBSC, the both applications are there in front of the the readers, then how they will differentiate between the two applicants? Or US is more holistic, so they will look at other aspect of it. But suppose if they are SAT score, someone is having 1500, another one is having 1350. So there's a clear-cut differentiation that, hey, this guy is, its application is also better academically, suited. And there are certain programs which definitely will look at academics first. For example, engineering, definitely they will look at academics first, then other aspect of application. So similarly, that's what it helps, when you have so much of diversity, and then that SAT score helps bring that aspect of your application that is uniform all across. So that's why SAT score was so much important. In fact, it was so much important for Lehigh that we were not having, test as a optional thing. It was mandatory. We became test optional only in the light of COVID situation because many students face difficulty in scheduling. And now also we are test optional. Means if you are preparing for test, if you have prepared for test all 3-4 years, we are not discounting your efforts in doing that. You can submit your test scores, but those who were not able to, we will not be unfair to them also. So that's what it helps. So you are not only focusing on your examination to prove your academic credential. You have one more way to showcase the same.
Great, thank you. So that's a fairly comprehensive overview of the SAT. I'm going to ask one last round of questions from each of you. That's relating to money. I know a lot of Indian students who want to study abroad, they're worried about how they're going to fund it. So basically 2 questions involved in this. One, if we can talk a little bit about scholarships, the availability and the process. And number 2, while you're there, are you able to work? How can you support your own income and make it feasible for you to study abroad? So we'll start with Prerna, please.
Yeah, so we do have scholarship options for all incoming international students. There are 2 categories of scholarships, which you'll find with most of the Canadian universities. One is application-based, other set is of automatic awards. The automatic awards, the admission team is going to assess you based on your profile, the average that you have, and they'll give you dollars, ranging between 1,000 to 3,000 Canadian dollars. This is about McMaster. To get into a program, you should be meeting the cutoff given by the faculty. But to get a scholarship here, you have to exceed that average. So top 10 of the applicant pool are eligible for these automatic awards. Now, second set is the application-based award. The students will need a reference letter from their school to apply for these scholarships. There are 3 application-based awards: Provost, the Peter George, and Wu family. Provost is worth 7,500 Canadian dollars. These are limited awards, just 10 in number. And the other 2, the Peter George and Wu family, are worth 3,000 Canadian dollars. And these are given when the student will provide the final results to the university. Now, apart from this, there are faculties who are offering scholarship based on different applications. So like the faculty of business will give you 5,000 Canadian dollars if you apply for this, if you fill in the supplementary application, which is optional, but we do encourage students because it will help you with those dollars. And then the engineering faculty, they are offering 6,000 Canadian dollars if you apply for their scholarship. So that the winners are guaranteed a research position as well. So these are some of the scholarships that we offer to the first year. These are non-renewable in nature. Now, going forward from level 2, you have to apply for need-based scholarship, for bursaries, or for these merit-based awards again. Apart from this, as you said, there are work options available within the campus. So we have university work study program for all students. There are more than 1,600 opportunities within 110 plus departments that we have, and student can work 10 hours per week, 35 hours during their breaks, 10 hours during their academic session, 35 hours during the break. If you get if a student get a chance, they can also work off campus, where the number of in your academic session, 40 hours per week during your breaks. And also, I would like to bring in the co-op and internship program here. All the Canadian universities are providing you with that. So at McMaster, the co-op program ranges between 4 months to 16 months. These are flexible work opportunities available with you during your academic session. And the student can earn a minimum of $10,000 during a 4-month co-op and a 40 to 45,000 Canadian dollar for a full-term co-op. And same with internship. Internship, though, are not flexible. These are long-term, 12 to 16 months of work term, wherein a student can earn 42 to 46,000 Canadian dollars. So, And one thing I would like to add here, a common question that I usually get, what is the difference between a co-op and internship? So co-ops are flexible, whereas internships are, these are long-term. Co-op will start right from your level 2 summers, and whereas the internship will come into picture at a later stage, like level 3. Even though the internships are optional, you'll have to, there are certain terms and conditions to it. You have to, do a mandatory career preparatory course. You should be having a CGPA of 7, and there'll be a mandatory interview which you have to qualify to get into internship. So yeah, these are the certain terms and conditions to that.
Great, great. So there's actually quite a broad variety of scholarship opportunities and of working opportunities. So it should be quite feasible for students to fund their education in various ways if they choose to study in Canada. Savi, I already asked you specifically about scholarships earlier. So if you wouldn't mind skipping that part and just talk about working in the UK while studying.
Definitely. So talking about working in the UK alongside your studies, so we definitely do encourage students to apply for internships, part-time opportunities, so that they're able to gain more experience and also are able to support their education and their living expenses while they are there in the UK. So as per the government regulations, students are allowed to work 20 hours per week. And as a university, we have a central career cell that helps students in terms of how to apply for jobs, prepare CVs, approach employers. So all in all, there's a lot of support that's available. We also organize multiple job fairs and career fairs. And one such career fair is purely focused on internship opportunities and job opportunities. We also, as a university, are one of the biggest employers in Durham City. We have a lot of jobs such as student ambassadors, student mentor opportunities available. Each of our colleges also has student unions. So you can also apply for a job with one of the colleges as well. So all in all, a lot of support. And our close proximity to Newcastle City also really helps students to be able to apply for jobs in Newcastle as well. Durham is a much more affordable city. So students are easily able to cover their living expenses somewhere between 7,000 to 9,000 pounds annually, which is roughly around 7 to 9 lakhs per year, which includes their food, their transportation and accommodation. Of course, it really differs from student to student depending on their personal lifestyle also. And these colleges that we have, some are catered, some are self-catered, some have ensuite rooms, some have rooms available on sharing basis. So of course, it again depends your living expenses on what kind of, accommodation option that you choose for. Traditionally, students by working part-time are able to cover at least 70 to 75% of their living expenses. So, and in Durham, usually they're able to cover approximately, 80 to 85% of their overall living expenses. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much, Rohan.
Great, great. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Shishir, on scholarships and working opportunities.
Sure. So at Lehigh, we provide scholarship from $5,000 to full tuition fee waiver. It all depends on students' profile. And most of the US universities are generally very generous. There's common misconception amongst people that US education is very expensive, but it all depends on your profile. If you have a good profile, if you have a good test score, if you have good academic credentials, if your profile is well over-rounded, you might not spend a single penny in studying in US. So that's the value of applying to US and preparing for it well in advance. So one thing I emphasized upon is well in advance, because you can't think of applying to top US universities while you are in 11th. You have to start working while you are in 9th. So think about it very seriously. So the more time you invest in the process, the better will be your profile when you will be applying to US university. That's one thing. Second thing is that in US, there are two work permits. One is CPT, which is curricular practical training, which are part of your work authorization, or the when you are studying, you have certain courses where you need to go and you have the industry experience, which will not be counted as a part of your OPT. So that's where you can go, you can earn, and that's a part of the course curriculum itself. So that's one part. Second is OPT, which is optional practical training, which is 12 months, as I mentioned, as a part of someone's, when they apply for visa. So this is, as a part of student visa, they have 12 months period. If you are taking 3 months OPT while you are completing your program, you will be only left with 3 months of OPT when you complete it. So most of the students, they apply only for, their CPTs. And generally, most of the universities have the built-into program for the students to have this internship, co-op opportunities while they are there. So and apart from these internship and co-op opportunities, they can also work 20 hours per week on campus. So the students cannot work off campus while they are studying in US. So that's one thing which is always there. So in terms of affordability, it's pretty good. Even if students have more opportunity to work outside these hours, when they're going to study. So that's why the system itself has been designed in such a way that students' main role is to go and study, and somehow in some way they can subsidize that education by scholarships, grants, and financial aid, and that's how they sponsor the education while they are in US.
So in all three countries, basically, there are different kinds of scholarship opportunities and there are different kinds of working opportunities. And I think you all have busted the myth that, it's prohibitively expensive for Indian students to study abroad. Indian students can study abroad if they avail these opportunities, if they apply strategically. Even those who are not from wealthy backgrounds can make it work financially. So that's great. That's all the questions that I wanted to ask. And I think it's about time to wrap up. Before we finish, I'd love to get the concluding remarks from Ms. Anjana.
Yeah, thanks, Rohan. And it's been a pleasure listening to all the three, representatives from 3 different countries. And I would like to thank Sat Possible for bringing us all together for this very important discussion. To all the students who are there, I was looking at a host of questions. I can take those for answers. But as a concluding remark, you see, each of the representative highlighted the all very, very good parts of the education system of each country and the courses and the way it works. Now, what is most crucial is all the students here that it's important that you understand yourself, your need, which country suits you, where do you stand, what is your profile, what are your strengths, is the academics your goal, how do you work around it? And that's where the teams of Sat Possible will help you. Whether you should take Sat, when should you take Sat, whether you should take it at all, is UK your only destination? All of these destinations are brilliant. All of these destinations, universities, you've only heard 3. There are thousands and thousands of universities across the globe who offer brilliant opportunities. So as I said in the beginning also when I was making a presentation, find your Harvard. Your Harvard could be in Canada, your Harvard could be in UK, your Cambridge could be in Canada, your Cambridge could be in UK. So just work with your counselors, and that's where they'll help you identify or highlight your strengths. How should you go about it? As Mr. Shishir said, start early. You start in grade 9, you will know what do I need to work upon. And when you start early, you have enough time to even explore your passions. I tell all my students, work on your passions. Don't work that I have to go to that college. Work on your passions, follow, do all the things right, and college admissions will be your bonus. And alongside, you would have learned so much more in the whole process. So do look for opportunities to gain as much information, whether it's through the sessions that are being organized, through the counseling sessions. I don't know whether we have time, Surbhi, to take up the questions and the answers now. Should we take up some? I had listed down some.
Yeah, let's take a few questions, 3 questions or something.
Okay, so there was one question by Tithi saying that I want to do medical in US. How should I work on? She's an 11th grader. So your application, first of all, let me tell you, for medical and law, US and Canada, you don't study medical and law per se, or MBBS or LLB at the undergrad level. That you can do in UK. So if you want to pursue medical in US or Canada, you have to study what we call the simple undergrad. Pre-med, you could do any science subjects, with a combination of any art subject, also physics, maths. If there are biomedical sciences major also, do that. So you, as far as SAT is concerned, your applications will go as early as October, depending on the universities you choose to apply to. So you must aim for the SAT October for sure, because you will need to submit, even after you submit the application, you have about a month to submit your SAT score. I hope I have answered that question. And profile immediately. I don't think if you are in 11th grade, you don't have much time to work on your profile. But yes, whatever you have, it's time to work with the counselor to consolidate all the aspects so that you can demonstrate the best possible you in the application. And then passing in 2023, the same thing, aim for SAT September, October. Then again, difference between SAT and IELTS. IELTS, I think Prerna had touched upon. IELTS is just a qualifying examination to tell them that you are prepared to study the course in English. It's a test of English language. It is not like it's just that it's more for, you can even take the IELTS later on for the visa purposes, because they have to clear that, yes, you are equipped to understand and take the course rigor in English. That's what it is. Okay, then somebody talked about commercial pilot. Commercial pilot depends on which country you are going to go on, and every country has different requirements. There was, I think, Canada law I have talked about. Low GPA versus SAT score. There was something, and I think it has been highlighted by Mehak and even Shishir. If you have a low GPA, but if you have a high SAT score, you can compensate for that along with your profile. I think those are the main questions that I saw. But of course, we are always available to answer more questions. And thank you once again to all the panelists and Surbhi and the entire SAT Possible team. It was a wonderful discussion, I think. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much to all our panelists. Savi, Shishir, Prerna, it's been a pleasure interacting with you all. Thanks for sharing your valuable insights about the different countries and universities to all our students. I'm sure they will have learned a lot. And thank you very much, Surbhi, for making it possible. Back to you.
Great. We had a great panel. Thank you so much, Roshan, for chairing it and giving us your valuable time, and to all the representatives of all the universities. You were here and you answered a lot of critical questions about your university, but also gave us an insight into the country and, at least a hang of what students can look at and in their application forms. And Anjana, thank you so much. You did sum it up very, very nicely, and you took up all those critical questions. So I would like to request all the students to come back for the demo sessions tomorrow and start applying for one-on-one counseling. We are offering you one free counseling with our counselor to make sense of all that we have spoken about today. For any more queries, please write to us at write to me at surabhi@satpossible.com. or info@satpossible.com. Look forward to seeing you and taking you into the preparation bit tomorrow and day after. So this is it from our side for today. And the audience have been very patient, I think. I think all of us would agree, all our panelists. Some of them have really sat through it, and there are almost over 200 questions, which we will try to sift through. But if something has gone unanswered, please email us. And better still, log on and join us for the one-on-one counseling. So a huge round of applause for the audience from all of us here for sitting through on a Sunday. And in North India, it's exceedingly cold. So I think all of you are comfortable at home. Please stay safe, stay home, wear your masks, and see you on the other side of the pandemic as well when you join your universities. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, please.